Welcome to Whitetail Rendezvous, hosted by Bruce Hutchin. I'm so happy you've joined us today, and you're going to find out a lot about whitetail hunting on the show. We welcome Phillip Vanderpool to the show today. Phillip hails from Arkansas, and one thing about Phillip you might not know is that he's taken over 30 turkeys with his bow. That's right, folks. He's quite a turkey slayer. Even more special than that, he spent a lot of time at Hunter Specialties, where he's a cameraman, and he did a lot of work and was on a lot of great hunts for whitetails. All in all, Phillip brings the virtues that everybody has in the outdoors to TV with his new show, The Virtual TV. He invites us all to come, to watch, and to bring the hunting tradition alive through virtual TV. It's never too early to think about food plots. Whitetail Rendezvous has an ebook for you. Just simply text 33444 food plot to get your copy. And this is Bruce Hutchin, your host at Whitetail Rendezvous, and I'm still at Iowa Deer Classic, Des Moines, Iowa. And sitting with me right now is a well-known gentleman. His name is Phillip Vanderpool, and he has a TV show called The Virtue TV. Welcome to the show, Phillip.
Thank you, Bruce. Basically, I know you wanted to ask me kind of basically how I got my start in this hunting industry. First and foremost, I started out, I've been videoing myself back in the late 70s. Remember when they had the old two-piece VHS, the camera hooked into it, you put it on your back, it was a top loader, and slid the VHS tape in there. That's how long I've been videoing.
That's a long time.
And then like around the early part of the 80s, they come out with the VHS camera, the camcorder where you put it up on your shoulder, slid the tape in. And that's basically what I done to get my start. But my professional start started with Hunter Specialties back about, I was with them for almost 16 years. But I was blessed. I'd done a lot of things in the hunting industry trying to get where I wanted to be. I went out on a limb, bought some professional video equipment myself. I spent about $15,000. I said, this is what I want to do. I want to get in here in the professional hunting side of things. I was a sales manager for Curtis Mathis Electronics there for about 15 years. And, hunting has always been a passion. I started and shot my first squirrel when I was 4 years old and have been hunting ever since. But the video camera side of things, I always wanted to capture something that nobody else had seen. And I was so intrigued with it, I went and bought all this professional video equipment. And long story short, I had a friend of mine, Terry Verbal, who made the connection with Hunter Specialties back in the day. And I actually ended up being Hunter Specialties head videographer, field producer, and I was in charge of all the video and camera equipment. But I also got to hunt as well. I was a national pro staff for them for almost 16 years. And I've been blessed in this hunting industry. I've known, getting myself in this, I've been able to shoot two 200-inch whitetails with a bow on video camera. Mainly the double drop tine is what I was known for. That was on Primetime Bucks 11 on their DVD and also on Hunter Specialties Outdoors over the years. But unfortunately, Hunter Specialties took the turn. They did not want to stay in the video side of things, and all their national pro staff are elsewhere now. So I had the break to start with the Dominator 365. A friend of mine, Steve Harrison, and his dad, Bob Harrison, wanted to start something and maybe get into the hunting industry with some new products. And they wanted me to be the name and host for Dominator. Well, I'd done that for about 3 years, and it worked out great. We're still friends. Everything worked out. But at the same time, saw the opportunity to actually go out on a limb and start my own company, basically, called the Virtue TV. I'm now the owner and the host of the Virtue TV, and I have a great pro staff all across the country. I have over 20 plus pro staff people, and we're a Christian-based company, and we try to give our Lord and Savior all the glory on our hunts. But at the same time, it's been great because when I started the Virtue, basically, let me back up here. The Dominator 365, I saw this about 5-6 years ago. An opportunity. I felt like that TV was going elsewhere, and it was going to the digital platform, which is now the web TV side of things. And I went to Realtree, and they took a chance and said, "Hey, let's see what we can do with this." And really, that first year, I think we only had like 50,000 hits. But here was the thing that's crazy. When you go back and look at the Realtree platform of Dominator 365, we had that 50,000 hits the first year, but it was fresh content. What we were doing is actually videoing and putting this hunt up within 2 weeks after we got it all put together, and it was fresh content. That's where we were going with this. Well, the first year with the 50,000 hits, the following year, that 50,000 hits went to over 1 million.
Oh my goodness.
So in that year's time, even though it's the second year going into it, you only had basically a year because of the fresh content. We had over 1 million hits. Well, I still have a great relationship with Realtree, but had the opportunity to go to Carbon TV. CarbonTV.com is the largest web-based TV production side of things out there, and they don't just do hunting; they do a lot of different things. It's kind of funny because David Forbman, who is, I guess, started Carbon TV, he actually owns Outdoor Hub, and he saw the future in this as well and got this thing up and running really before I did. I had the opportunity to join up with them with an exclusive web-based TV show called The Virtue. And I'm just telling you, it's what a blessing. It's been an amazing ride. I'm going into the 4th season with Carbon TV, and the platform is unbelievable because we utilize our social media along with our sponsor partners, and we share everything. And being able to own my own footage and having control now, I can work with several other companies. I can share footage, share content, photos, whatever we need to do. And we are very good at that. We have The Virtue also on Facebook, and then our Instagram, which is a huge platform. We also do Twitter and some of the others, but our main focus is Facebook and Instagram. But just last year, through our digital platform with the YouTube, the Realtree, Carbon TV, just our video content, we had 3.4 million views. And for that, I'm very thankful. It's got to be such a huge part of what we do. I also want to say our sponsor partner, the Outdoor Group, who has 9 companies, which is Elite, Dual Game Calls, Lynch Mob Game Calls. Let's see, let me get this all straight. Camex Crossbows, CBE Sights, Scott Releases. Let me think. Winner's Choice Bowstrings. There's 9 companies. Well, they are my title sponsor partner. We do everything together. We share content together. I also am blessed to be able to use my footage through Respect the Game TV, which is on Sportsman, and that's who the Outdoor Group owns. And that show, the Respect the Game. But I also work with NWTF. I work with Rob Evans with Ultimate Hunt TV. I'm blessed to be able to do all this. And of course, Realtree uses my hunts. They're going to be utilizing some of our hunts on Sportsman Channel, on the Realtree channel, and then also Monster Bucks. I shot a big deer last year in Kansas. It made Monster Bucks. I've had some success with that. It's been great. Realtree's been gracious enough to use some of those big deer and stuff there that I've been able to take. But in the hunting industry itself is fantastic. But what I do now with the Virtue TV is we have 26 brand new episodes. I'm getting ready to start on March 15th. Brand new episodes, and it's all fresh content. And we air these shows within 2 weeks after we do the hunt. And that's the neat thing about it. You're not waiting a full year to see it like you do on the TV platform. And that's what we want to do. We want to do 3 things. We want to entertain, inform, and educate. And that's what we do through this digital channel. We also do a lot of little posts on the Virtue. On the Facebook, we may do a little one minute sizzle click to kind of tease you a little bit to go into the show. We're showing photo content all the time out there, what we do. And we try to let these people on Facebook and Instagram know what we're doing at all times. Every day we're making posts and sharing them. We're doing that also with the outdoor group, with our sponsor partners. And it's really working out because we're getting out there to reach out and touch people. I'm doing 10 episodes just this spring on turkey hunting. For instance, I start next weekend in Alabama on their youth hunt. But what am I doing? I'm taking 4 special needs kids, and it's giving them an opportunity to shoot their first turkey. And that's that first weekend. Then we get into the following weekend, which is their regular season. We're taking 3 handicapped people in wheelchairs. We got 2 teenage boys and a teenage girl that we're taking. And that's what I love to do. I love to give back. I've been so blessed over the years of turkey and deer, and I'm known for being a bow hunter first and foremost, and I've been blessed to shoot a lot of big deer on video. But that's not what it's all about, and that's not what the virtue is all about. Yeah, do I want to shoot a big deer? You bet. And sometimes when I have the time to focus on a particular deer, I will. But it's about the hunt. It's about the experience and what I get out of it more now. I'm going back to traditional roots on a lot of this, and I want to be able to give back what I've been blessed to do in the hunting industry. How many guys you know that's shot 80 turkeys with a bow? You know,
not very many.
And they're all on video, and I've been blessed. I've got over 70 Hoping young class whitetails, 8 of those Boone and Crockett class, 2 of them over 200 inches, all with Archer equipment. But hey, I've had my run, and I understand that it's time to give more back and to get these youth involved. That's so important because our numbers, everybody talks about it, but I'm telling you, I done a seminar yesterday on our youth hunts and turkey hunting and getting our youth involved in turkey and deer hunting. I had 11 kids in there. I had more adults in there than I did kids. And I was so hoping to have a full packed house. We had a good crowd, but to give you an example, I do a whitetail seminar on deer and decoying deer. And everybody knows me that knows I love to rattle grunt, squeeze those big bucks in and use a decoy. And I've been so successful. We had so much video content. I had a full house. I mean, the place was packed. But when I do one on youth, we just don't get near. And I just want to encourage everyone how important it is to get our youth and to get them involved and get them out there and put a turkey call in their hand or a grunt call and let them get them started young and give back a little bit of what we've been so blessed to do, because if we don't do this, I'm telling you, it's not going to be here much longer because our numbers are dropping every day. I think the state of Missouri, from what I last heard, is the only state that actually has growing numbers of hunters still. Everybody else is declining. What does that tell you, Gary?
It's pretty sad, that's for sure. Now let's go back and let's talk about the transition from, B-rolls and the filming and the huge cameras that guys carried through the swamps. And then all of a sudden we get the digital cameras that fit in your hand. And then you're putting it out on a platform that has no bounds. You have, the channel is yours. You can do what you want. And is that the future, you think, of hunting videos or hunting film?
I don't have all the answers, but I can tell you there's a time that I ran with Wayne Carlton carrying one of those big old heavy tripods that weighed 40, 50 pounds and the huge beta cams, the big Sony beta cams. And then you had the bricks, they call them. That was the batteries. They would last maybe 20 minutes. And I would put them around the belt. You would have 80, 100 pounds around your waist carrying this camera equipment around in the elk woods up there following Wayne. I mean, it's come so far, the digital technology with the camera equipment. Now you can take your phone. This is the truth. My Galaxy S7 gets way better video footage than that $60,000 Sony camera did.
Isn't that amazing?
It's unbelievable. I use a lot of multiple cameras. Obviously the GoPros, and I've got some small Sonys, but I'll tell you what I've been doing that's really helped me out. Covert trail cameras. I set these cameras up and I set them in video mode because it's HD footage. And I put it in the video mode and set it up for 1 minute, and then it has a 5-second break if I want to break it up. But if a big deer comes in, I've got those trail cameras. I'm getting a lot of footage off these trail cameras, and I don't have to worry about turning them on. Now, sometimes they get it, sometimes they don't, but I use several of them. So in turn, I only get a lot of video footage from just a covert trail camera. It's crazy how far it's come. And then you've got your remote controls for your GoPros that you can kick on and put out there with your turkey decoys and stuff. Gary, it's crazy, but we run, I would say on the least amount we run is like 5-6 cameras, all the way to about a dozen cameras on these setups. We don't do the old traditional cutaway stuff. We try to keep it live and showing you the product being used in the field. For the most part, we got all that right there. And it's amazing because Clint, my editor, he's 23, and he knows how to keep it going and utilize it. I don't know if you've had the opportunity to look at some of the shows on the virtue.tv, and that's on our website, and you can go watch them any place, anywhere. It's just called the virtue.tv. That's the website. And you can go there, and I have like 90 plus episodes. You can watch them any place, anywhere, anytime. They are archived. It's always there to go back to. And our sponsor partners are loving this, Gary, because they're seeing that continuously. That number's growing all the time. I mean, you may have 50,000 views this week, and then next week you look at it, you got 70,000. Or if you look at it a year in it, like the Realtree, you may have 1 million views on that. It's unreal. We done one, Clint and I done a hunt in Kansas with a little boy that had Down syndrome. And he shot this buck, and we put a teaser out. It's about 3 minutes long. He put a song with it. It's very, very heart-touching. 3.5 million views on just that. Is that not just...
Isn't digital world that... I was smiling when you're setting up your trail cameras. And the reason I'm smiling, so instead of having 5 different angles, 5 different cameras, you've already set it up. You know where the deer's coming, sort of, kind of. When he walks in, he's on film. Boom.
Exactly.
He's on film, but we get an angle from the south, east, west, north, and we can see all his posturing. We can see everything he's doing, and then we're cutting back to the shooter. He's up in a tree or in a blind, and he's got the camera right, on his 6, taking the shots that they want to get the kill shot. But before then, you get a lot of B-roll that you never touched. And that's marvelous.
And see, we're, for the most part, and I do a lot of this self-videoing, Gary. I mean, honestly, and very blessed to be able to do it. For instance, the last show we done in Kansas, I self-videoed that whole hunt. And I not only got it on bow hunting out of a blind, not only got the shot off the big camera, but I have another camera that I'm running in slow-mo. So, boom, you're seeing that in 240 frames in slow motion, or a 120 frame, depending on what you want to set it on. And I've got the covert trail cameras out there. They've got all this, got him walking in, just like you said. It's amazing. And I'm telling folks some of my secrets, but at the same time, I want to share that because that's what I did for a long time, is taught camera schools, and not saying I'm the best, but I'm telling you, I'm probably the luckiest and blessed camera guy ever. I can't tell you how many people has shot their biggest animals with me. Wayne Carlton, 400-inch bull. Craig Morgan, the country music singer, his 190-inch buck. Rick White, his big booner in Iowa. And I can go on and on and on. And like I say, there's guys out there way better than I am, but I've just been blessed. And I think a lot of it's because I give all the glory to the good Lord. I mean, and that's the truth. And I'm not sitting here trying to make this a preaching show. I'm just telling you, I'm truly blessed.
Phillip, it's real people in real places. That's my show. And when you think about it, I'm sitting here going, holy right. I'm still hung up on the trail cameras because all of a sudden, if you set that up right, listeners, I don't care where you are, everybody's got 3 or 4 cameras. So you get your hot setup. It's the rut. So you set your cameras up, and they're going to run as soon as Mr. Wonderful Stop comes in, and then editing is going to be a lot of fun because you get all these different angles which you'd never thought about. That's what I was thinking about, Phillip. You never thought about it.
Absolutely. And Gary, like I say, when you go and watch our shows, you'll see Clint gets aggravated at me sometimes because, like you said, he has to edit all these different angles. But that's what I'm trying to bring to the table, is something that you see from different angles. It's live because a lot of stuff is staged so much. We don't stage it. But I will say this, when you're going in and setting up, scent control is vital. And I'm not trying to tell you what to do or what to use, but I decoy a lot. So I have to go set these cameras up before the hunt starts, and you're walking through where that deer is going to be coming. So you need to make sure you're sprayed down with your best scent control. Me personally, I use lethal. It's worked really well for me. And I try to spray my hands, even my bare hands now. I've started doing that because I wear gloves a lot of times, and I cut the tips out of them, Gary, so I can because I'm running camera and trying to hunt with a bow and running all these cameras. But scent control, getting in, getting the setup, getting position right, and getting these angles. And you have to watch it. If you're using a decoy, same thing. Spray them down real good. And I'll tell you something I use, and they are not a paying sponsor, by the way, is Evercalm. I put it on the deer, and I put it all around, and it seems to relax those deer. It has really helped my decoy in the last 3 years, actually. It's called, by Conquest Scents, it's called Evercalm, and it comes in a stick form, and it calms the deer down. It's made from secretions from the bedding areas. It's not one particular deer in this, and I use that in conjunction with my decoys, and it has made a huge, huge difference. And you can see some of the footage that we've got. It's just unreal what we got last year.
Okay, one more time. Tell
Yes.
people how they can get to your stuff. And if you're on Facebook, is it the Virtue TV?
Yep. You just go to the Virtue TV on Facebook. You can look up Phillip Vanderpool. I have an open page, and I also have I guess just a Phillip Vanderpool page, a private page, but yet it's an open page. You can like and stuff on that. I keep it where you can get to it, but I'm always maxed out on, can only have 5,000 friends, and that's been maxed out ever since I've been on Facebook. I'd say the first 3 months. However, but I do have an open page, Phillip Vanderpool, the Virtue TV. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook there. And then also the web-based, if you want to watch the shows on it, it's the virtue.tv. I'd encourage you to go to Carbon TV because they also have several great hunting shows on there, and it don't cost anything. Basically, you just put your email address in, and they'll send you like once a week or so. I get a new show or fresh content or something they'll post on there, and it works out great. But the virtue.tv is the website. And
thanks, Philip, for that. And right now, listeners, we've been talking about how and why and all of Philip's background and how he's made the transition. So if you're thinking about, doing filming, and there's a lot of great people out there that will help you along the way, and Philip's one of them. But we're going to change it up. We're going to talk about that last big buck you took. So that was in the ones on Monster.
Oh, Monster Bucks, okay.
Yep.
I sure will.
We're gonna tell that story because we got about 8 minutes left, and we're gonna roll it up. I could sit there all day in this, and I got to give a shout out for Dodge Motor Company. We're here at Iowa Deer Classic, and the local dealer has given me a sound room that costs about $68,000. So props out to Dodge of Des Moines, Iowa.
Oh, well, let me just tell you about Wide Glide. Wide Glide's the buck that I took last year. It's on Monster Bucks 24 Volume 1. Wide Glide. I've actually hunted this spot, and it's one of those unique spots that everything connects, and it's a great place not only to hunt out of a stand, you can hunt it with or without a decoy. It kind of pinches down, but it's basically in a hedge apple thicket a little bit there. And on one side, it's usually either in corn, beans, or winter wheat, whatever they want to do to rotate the crops. And my buddy that I hunt on there, this is actually through Triple H Outfitters, but this friend of mine has 8 acres there, okay, that he owns. That's including the house and everything. And this is just a pinch point. And real quick, Gary, I have shot 4 bucks out of that area there. 3 of them have been booners.
Out of 8 acres?
Yes. It's the.
Did you hear that? Okay. We're going to go over this one more time.
I've shot 4 big whitetails out of there. 3 of those bucks have been gross booners, one of them over 200 inches. But here's the unique thing about this. 2 of those bucks were taken in late season in December, and they were never on trail camera the whole time. the big deer wide glide that I took, I had him on trail camera, and I ran 5 trail cameras on this 8 acres. I had him on trail camera the day before I shot him, and that was November the 18th. And I had him on trail camera on the 17th. I shot a big deer the year before. He's a 150 class 8 point the year before on a decoy again, and that was on November 17th. But wide glide had never, he came from a whole different area. I found out later on some other guys were hunting them, and they even thought maybe I'd shot this deer on their place because they had trail camera pictures and stuff. You know how that goes. Well, long story short, video don't lie, okay, where I shot the buck. But wide glide never showed up. He what made his mistake is he was following the doe. But here's the scenario. Don and I, the day before on the 17th, we knew that we needed a north wind, and needed a northwest wind in the worst way to go in there and really do what we wanted to do. We already had the blind set up on the ground, and we started in about 1 o'clock. And as we started in, I'm going down this old road. It's in some tall prairie grass there. And I look and I could see the blind, but right past the blind, I saw antlers, and the wind's blowing really hard. And it's supposed to make the switch from south to north. And I look and I see this big deer. I said, Don, that's a big buck. We got to get out of here, buddy. He's going to smell us because the wind wasn't right. What we wanted to do was check the trail cameras real quick. Well, when we seen him, we just backed out and said, you know what? That's our spot for in the morning. We should be good in the morning. That wind's shifting out of the south back to the north. Next morning, we get in there before daylight. I get my DSD decoy. I call him Smitty because of Dave Smith, who makes the DSD decoys. I set Smitty up there, and it's just breaking light. Here comes a buck, and he comes in, and he literally takes out my decoy. Let's just kaboom. Well, the cool thing is we had a covert set up behind the decoy, so it got the picture. I had it on picture mode, so I get him bowed up right before he hits him. Then you see the decoy laying down there, you know. But we also had these other cameras because I turned them on that morning, walked through, had to spray down real good, but got them set up, and it got some of that as well. So we got a little bit of video content. It was in black and white because it was still early. Well, long story short, I got back out, set the decoy up. I'm thinking, boy, this is going to make more sense. But I got it set up, put the Evercom out on the deer, and before you know it, we've got deer all around this, and I've got 3 little button bucks up there licking my decoy. Now, is that not crazy? And then we've got some more smaller bucks out there. They're in this hedge apple, but they're out of the wind there. It kind of protects them, especially out of that north. Pretty soon, I look, here comes a big doe. I mean, she's a big doe. She's coming on in. She's looking at the decoy a little bit, kind of leery. Right behind her is old Sad Daddy, old Wide Glide. That's what I call my big bucks, is old Sad Daddy. And here he comes in, and he's following her. A couple other bucks are trying to get in close to that doe because she's in, obviously. He turns and runs them off. I'm thinking, oh, boy, it's over with. She's going to turn and leave because she's not going to like the decoy. Well, that's not the case. I don't know if it was the Evercom or what, but she stayed right in there. She's kind of alert a little bit, but she's staying right in there. Pretty soon, here he comes back in. Well, I'm sitting over here on the left, Don Palmer, my cameraman. I was actually running with Don. He was running camera for me. I lean out, and as far as I could, and he's broadside, and I made a shot, and I using that solid broadhead. I shoot both because the outdoor group has slick trick and solids, and I love both of them, but that solid 125 with an 1.5 inch cut, I zip through him. He goes 15 yards, and he tips over. And he's a 175-inch gross buck.
Oh, my goodness.
Big 10 point. I'm just totally blessed. And you got to watch the hunt on Realtree. They've got it. And then we've also got them.
What's the name of the hunt?
It's on Realtree Monster Bucks. I can't tell you what number. It's on volume 1, but it's Realtree Monster Bucks 24 video on volume 1. Realtree Monster Bucks 24. I've also got that on the Virtue as well. It's a little bit different version. It's edited different, but you can find that on the Virtue as well. And it's a great hunt.
Well, Mr. Vanderpool, this is just about wrapping up my time here at the Iowa Deer Classic, and I've had some great guests, and I just want to thank you for being one of them, because it's been a pure pleasure, and I can't wait till we can hang out and do some other stuff, because we're both a little long in the tooth, and we sure as heck like to do what we do. So, sir, on behalf of thousands of listeners across North America, Whitetail Rendezvous says thank you, sir, for being a guest.
Thank you. And I appreciate it. And y'all just remember to go to thevirtue.tv on Facebook and on our website. Thank you.
On the next episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, we're going to visit with Frank McDonough. Now, Frank's been on the show before, and he talked to us about online archery challenge. And we're going to continue that conversation. Frank has a digital online archery challenge that he has people and teams from all around the world. I think you're going to find it very interesting how he does it, why it does it, and how he's building a community within the archery nation. Plus, Frank loves to hunt those Pennsylvania whitetails, so he's going to share some tips and techniques about them. Stand by. It's going to be a good show.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, where you can listen and learn from the experts so you can be more successful on your next hunt. Until next time, listen, learn, and succeed.